Hello children, today we are going to make some Play-Doh, and not any kind of Play-Doh but salt dough. So that just means that it will dry and it will harden into something that you can actually use and keep. Right, so we did this once at school and it was a bit of a disaster, and the reason for that is the salt that we used, and this is the same salt, so don't use this salt. It's a bit rough and like it took up a lot of moisture, but it should still, we can make it work. So what you will need is a measuring cup, you will need some flour, and then the salt, a mixing bowl, and some water. So I took the smallest measuring cup I could find. It is a third of a cup, which is I think 82 milliliters. I'll check now, but it's very small. You don't need a lot of salt dough. So throw it into your bowl. Let me make sure it's, 83 milliliters. And then salt, the same amount. So whatever your measurement is, just do 1 and 1, same amount. So the ratio of salt to dough is 1 to 1. So 1/4 or 1/3 cup. So if you use 1 whole cup, you must make sure you use 1 whole cup of each. And then the recipes that I found said that you must use the same amount of water, but that's not true, because I tried the same amount of water and I got this sloppy, icky. So use a little bit of water, just wet it, and then mix it until all the water's been used up, and then see if you need more. So mix water in as needed, not as the recipe says. So I can see that I need some more water because all my water's been mixed in and it's still just crumbs. So I'll add some more water. Don't bump the camera, Tiny. Please go play with your Play-Doh. I already made some Play-Doh and okay, this is almost starting to look like something I could mush together and pick up, but I might be able to put just a little bit more water, tiny little bit. Okay, maybe that was too much. No, I think it's good. Okay, then when you see it sort of makes a lump, this is maybe a little bit too wet, so be careful that you don't end up putting too much water like I have done now. I'm going to add, okay, I'm not going to add anything just yet. So before you start adding more flour and more salt and more water and more flour and more salt, just take it in your hand. It will stick to your hand, but don't worry about that, it's only flour. And squish it together so that the water can really be used up by all the little pieces of flour, all the dry flour that you have in your batch. And only when you've really mixed it in everywhere, see, I've done it a couple of times now and it's still too wet, see, it's still sticking to my hand. Now I will add some more flour, little bit, tiny little bit, like less than this. Okay, so I only used a little bit, and then I'll put my spoon away, and I will take up all the bits at the bottom, mix that in as well. So if you are really just careful with the amount of water you throw in, you won't have to add any more flour to the mix. Okay, this is already looking a little bit better. And then you will have to roll it a little bit. It it will also dry with some time. So if you let it stand for like half an hour, it will dry out a little bit. But I can still see the salt bits. So there we go. I can even add a little bit more flour. Let me add some more flour. Okay. And again, you must really try and get that ratio right the first time around. Otherwise, the more flour you add, the more you are messing with the flour to salt ratio, and we need to get that right in order for this thing to harden like a statue and not stay Play-Doh. Okay. So if yours looks like this, don't panic. You'll get there. It's part of the fun. Enjoy it. Look at this mess. It's lovely. Okay, this looks good. Good. So the reason why I use such a small amount is because of what we are going to do with this salt dough. Okay, so as you can see, I quickly drew up this man very quickly, so he doesn't look amazing. But what I wanted you to see was how big you are supposed to make your salt dough. Okay, so your salt dough should fit into your body like that. That's how big it should be. So this is really big because I can still flatten it out. And I also want a little piece for the brain. So there's a piece for the brain, and this still fits in the body. And then once you are happy with the consistency, I want you to break it up into parts. So the amount of pieces you need to make, I would say, are 10. So let's start. The brain can be 1, and you can flatten it out so that it'll fit nicely in your brain, like that. And then we want 10 pieces. So you can divide, make a snake. I think that's the best. Now I already took my brain out, but that's okay. And then we can divide that up into 2 parts. So 1, 2. And then we need 5 out of this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just 4 out of this one because I already took out the brains. So there we go. 5. 10 altogether. And then I decided on 10 because I will make 1, maybe 9 will be better because we won't have space to do both the esophagus and the windpipe because they're sort of on the same spot. So let's make one looking like sort of like this for my windpipe going up to here. And then we need, we can have 2 lungs, so it will work out. 1 lung sort of looks, if I made it into shape like that. 1 lung over there, and the other lung over there. Okay, 2 lungs, and in the middle there's a heart, which I see is a bit smaller, so I'm going to divide this part up. I'll put that one over there. Maybe there's something that's bigger and then we need it. And the heart sort of points to the left of your body. So if I'm looking at this guy's body, it must point to my right, will be his left. Okay. Then we also need a stomach. Stomach sort of looks something like that. A little bag, little bean, maybe a little bean. Okay. And we also need a liver, which sort of looks straight on the one side, straight on that side, and not so straight at the bottom. Okay, it doesn't have to be super accurate because we are going to draw on the top once it's dry. And we can add the pictures in. Okay, some liver. This is not accurate because your liver is not as big as your lungs. Let's use the little small part. Small little liver. Okay, but as we said, it's not very accurate, so it's fine. It's a little bit more like a triangle, actually. Let's do it. Okay. Yeah, play with it until you are happy that your liver looks like a liver that you would want. Okay, stomach is good, and we have some small intestines, which remember we said is like super duper 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 long because it's this winding thing inside your body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the snake. It's not very long, but then I'm just going to wrap it up and then I'll squish it flat, which was pointless because you can't see it's wrapped up. It's stuck to my hand. But it's fine. Like I said, we will be drawing on top of it. And what did I miss? Let's just check my great big book of everything. Okay, so let me put my small intestine just there. It doesn't really have to be, it can be bigger, I guess. Let's take a bigger blob. Squish it flat so it's nice big for a picture when I draw a picture on it. And what else? Large intestine. Did I forget about that? I did. Large intestine is just below my stomach. I'll put it over there. And my liver, remember we have the pancreas and the gallbladder as well, but they all sit together over here. So I'm going to put the picture on here for all three of them. Large intestine, small intestine. Do you remember the large intestine is also called your colon? Small intestine, and then the rectum. I also want to add a rectum on the side because it connects from around about there on the side. And this is the one that lets you know that you need to get rid of some waste. So it sends a message to your brain saying, okay, it's time to look for a bathroom now. It's very useful. Imagine if we didn't have that warning system. Okay. And I still have 3 pieces left. What did I miss? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I wanted to put it an esophagus, but I'm going to leave that out because I would like to do the windpipe. Maybe we can do windpipe and esophagus next to it. And then we have the stomach. Oops, the stomach, the lungs, the heart, the liver, pancreas, and gallbladder. We have the large intestine or the colon, stomach, rectum, small intestine, I think that's more accurate, and the brain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, somewhere along the line I broke up my pieces and I have all of this extra stuff. So my extra stuff I will just make something, a star maybe, and I'll make a keychain because it's gonna harden, and then I can make something that will last. Or I can maybe build them up a little bit so they're all the same width because they're not at the moment. But this is what I want. Then I want you to just make sure that now you've built them to fit together, but they mustn't actually touch one another, because if they dry while they are touching one another, you won't be able to get them separated. And we want them separated because we're going to draw on them and then we're going to play with them. Okay, there we go. That's all we need. So just to check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the amount you need. Okay. hope your recipe goes a little bit smoother than mine, but if it doesn't, don't worry, it'll all work out in the end. Hope you have a good day.